How you doing, son?
Okay.
You want to talk about it?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the 1980s television programs that displayed high levels of professionalism, seriousness, or earnestness when it came to tackling dramatic subjects.
I learned that the way it is not the way it has to be.
Number 10, The Wonder Years.
This is the way most of my conversations with my brother Wayne ended. Apparently, he just deeply regretted the fact that I had been born, and he wanted me to feel the same way.
The original run of The Wonder Years has been rightfully lauded over the years for the quality of its writing. As a result, this comedy drama was able to deftly handle even the toughest of plot points.
You know, Kevin, you can't do every silly thing you want to in life. You have to make your choices. You have to try and be happy with them. I think we've done pretty well.
The fact that The Wonder Years was set during such a tumultuous time in American history, the 1960s and 70s, meant that cultural shifts, mores, and politics were all fair game. For example, the episode entitled My Father's Office deals with dreams, parenting, and how sometimes the two have a hard time coexisting. Even the pilot episode displayed how The Wonder Years was unafraid of heavy topics, with Winnie Cooper's brother being killed while overseas in Vietnam.
It was impossible for me to believe that Brian was dead.
I'm sorry. About Brian.
Number 9, The Hogan Family.
We should have had some kind of plan. The first thing we do on a plane is tell people what to do in case of an emergency. And I didn't do that for my own family.
It takes a certain kind of very special episode to eventually be used as an example for young people. The bad timing episode of The Hogan Family, originally titled Valerie, was one such example, and it showcases how the show's writing staff knew what they were doing.
You could just go down to the drugstore and pick up some protection. You know, condoms.
By myself?
That episode discussed safe sex practices, but this wasn't the only time the Hogan family delved into serious issues. There were also episodes that dealt with the burgeoning AIDS crisis, as well as the infamous death of the original title character, played by Valerie Harper. As a result, many consider the Hogan family to be pretty underrated.
I was there for him when he needed me the most. And we were there for each other, making the most of every moment and remembering all the good times.
Number 8, Hill Street Blues. The television landscape has never been short of cop shows. However, the 1980s ushered in a new sort of police procedural, one that was even more grounded in reality. This is mostly thanks to the prolifically talented writer and producer Stephen Bochco and Hill Street Blues.
Nobody's gonna hurt you, you hear me? We're gonna take you to the hospital now. You understand what I'm saying to you? Don't think I don't know who was copping the cheap feel during the fight.
The show also predicted future successes Bochco would have with shows like NYPD Blue, in that it depicts a police force full of humanity and human foibles.
Needs crowd control. All East Side Park units. All right, that's it. Let's roll. Hey. Let's be careful out there.
Hill Street Blues wasn't a show where plot threads were neatly and conveniently tied up in under 60 minutes. Instead, narratives were carried on throughout the season and featured episodes like Rites of Spring that discussed racism in the police force.
This was number 4. 3 black, 1 brown. And that jive story you laid on Internal Affairs about being out at 3 in the morning looking for your snitch? That's lame, man.
Hill Street Blues was truly something special. Number 7, Fame. The original Fame television series was an excellent adaptation of the 1980 film. The show was able to take the dramatic elements of that influential movie and bring them to the small screen.
Both Mickey and Danny Amatulu have been injured. And I'm so sorry. Nicole Chapman has been killed.
There was plenty of romance, dancing, and great music on Fame, but the show also was not afraid to get really real. Episodes such as Go Softly Into the Morning and Bottle of Blues dealt with drunk driving and alcohol use disorder, respectively.
You say you're scared. Well, to use that fear to do something about it before the DTs, before it's too late. Because too late gets here real quick.
Meanwhile, help from my friends discussed depression and self-destruction in a way that didn't feel trite or forced. Fame is definitely deserving of a revisit.
Maybe the person who it belongs to would like to discuss it with, if not myself, then one of the other teachers.
The important thing is that you contact one of us as soon as possible.
Number 6, 21 Jump Street.
What do you think? Mr. Anthony.
Shoot him, Tito. Please, Tito.
The plot of the original 21 Jump Street may have eventually made a smooth transition into the world of film comedy, but this television show was actually played quite straight. As a result, 21 Jump Street feels like a traditional undercover police procedural. And this show did not shy away from presenting the consequences of guns, illegal substance use, and criminal activity in no uncertain terms. Episodes like After School Special discussed students bringing guns to school, while Under the Influence tapped into the satanic panic that worried parents of punk and heavy metal fans. Additionally, A Big Disease with a Little Name covered important topics like the AIDS crisis and school tormentors.
Would you do me a favor? Sure. Just hold me, man.
Number 5. Family Ties. The very special episode of a sitcom can really fall flat in an offensive or patronizing way if not suitably handled with sensitivity. Thankfully, Family Ties did this sort of episode with a steadier hand than most, thanks to a number of factors.
You could have come to me right away, Mallory. Maybe I could have helped.
Arthur's your good friend.
You're my daughter. Nothing's more important than my family.
For starters, the earnestness of the scripts helped make the Keaton family's reactions believable. Additionally, the quality of the acting was very high, so the performances drive home the dramatic elements.
Either you get some help, or you get the hell out of my house.
How could I do that? I hit Alex.
Episodes like Say Uncle, Speed Trap, and more dealt with alcohol use disorder, substance use disorder, anxiety, and inappropriate behavior in ways that were often earnest, while the show remained frequently funny.
Look at how you're handling it. You're on your knees rummaging through the garbage looking for someone else's diet pills.
I guess I've had finer moments.
Number 4. A Diff'rent World. A Diff'rent World never seemed to shy away from tackling social issues. Instead, this spin-off from The Cosby Show seemed to delight in diving into said issues head-on.
My friends died in those protests. We may not agree on how to address the problem, but we must agree to do something.
The show's collegiate setting helped demonstrate how that time in a young person's life is often where their political and social views tend to codify. Hot-button political topics such as apartheid were not off the table for A Diff'rent World, and the show was one of the earlier sitcoms to discuss the AIDS crisis in earnest.
I didn't get AIDS from a blood transfusion or by doing drugs. I got it by having unprotected sex with my boyfriend junior year in high school.
The show's historically African-American college Hillman also set the stage for discussions on racism, interracial relationships, and even the Los Angeles riots.
Ask me a question, then you walk away. See, we're not listening to the truth about black and white, about the homeless, about what this verdict really, really means.
Number 3. Diff'rent Strokes.
I have epilepsy.
Really? What? Pearl, if we had known, we wouldn't have done that.
You shouldn't have done it anyway. It was cruel and demeaning.
Diff'rent Strokes may have started in the late 70s, but its longevity and fandom helped make it a staple of 1980s television. In fact, it was the show's 80s run that featured some of its most significant episodes. These included The Bicycle Man, which depicted abduction in one of the most harrowing ways imaginable.
It's not your fault, son. And I don't blame you. And I'm not going to punish you. I love you.
Meanwhile, a special friend brought epilepsy into the show's narrative conversation, while the reporter even saw former First Lady Nancy Reagan guest star in order to hammer home the decade's Just Say No campaign.
All drugs are dumb. And if you're involved in them, please talk to your parents, your teacher, whoever.
Diff'rent Strokes kept its poker face through it all and handled all of these topics with a stony seriousness. Number 2. The Golden Girls. The Golden Girls was amazingly adept at inserting serious discussions into their episodes while remaining uproariously funny through it all. The characters' age meant that some subjects TV often avoided were able to be explored.
That's the point. If you're not sure, you can't change your mind tomorrow. You wanted me to be here for your death. How about letting me be here for your life?
These included, but were not limited to, menopause, Alzheimer's disease, prejudice, and end-of-life choices. The AIDS crisis also reared its head here, and was handled superbly well.
AIDS is not a bad person's disease, Rose. It is not God punishing people for their sins.
You're right, Blanche.
Well, you're damn straight I'm right.
The Golden Girls also addressed topics like gambling disorder within its run, proving how there was pretty much nothing off limits to the writing staff or the cast. The Golden Girls just nailed it every time.
You're being very naive.
I'm not naive.
Yes, you are. You are being naive now. Don't you see? I'm stealing your money.
I know, Dorothy.
Before we name our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions. The Facts of Life, the good, the bad, and everything in between.
He pushed me down, and he was holding me down. And all of a sudden, I heard people's voices. He must have heard them too, because he just got up and left and ran away.
Punky Brewster, reflecting on the Challenger disaster.
They didn't get to finish their mission, did they?
No.
But they did get started on their way. Now, is that a good thing?
Sure.
Mr. Belvedere, Predators in Prime Time.
What do you mean, Wes?
Yeah, Wes, what's the problem?
Because if he goes with him, he might try to do something.
Growing Pains, the Effects of Grief.
I loved Sandy so much. I don't know what to do. I mean, when does this get easier? When?
Saint Elsewhere, Doctors and High Drama.
So, when you suggested a more mundane activity, she suggested...
The pistol range, exactly. Sex and violence is the American way.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Degrassi Junior High.
I'll make a great speech to the PTA. Even if I do have to write it myself. I just wish there was someone to help me.
The Degrassi franchise has become well known at this point for its fearlessness. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about the original Kids of Degrassi Street, Degrassi Junior High, or any of its subsequent spin-offs. This show turned getting serious into an art form.
Sounds like a normal dad to me. There's no reason not to go visit him. LD, he needs you. You're all he's got left.
It's perhaps Degrassi Junior High that's best known by an international audience, thanks to it being broadcast in its native Canada as well as in the US on public access. Degrassi treated kids with respect and discussed issues like unplanned pregnancy, anxiety, and much more with empathy and understanding.
I don't want to have an abortion, but I don't want to have a baby. I don't want any of this. I'm just a kid. Why is this happening?
There's a reason why we're still examining Degrassi Junior High today, and it's because of the show's excellent writing. Which 80s television show do you think stood out from the pack? Let us know in the comments.
Used to tell me everything.
I'm older now. It's not as easy.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.